Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Urbstead. I'm Ben, and this is the end of week one for our Garden Survival Challenge. If you've been following along with our daily shorts, you know that there's been some changes to the rules, and we've made some modifications for quality of life as well as for the execution of the challenge itself. One of those things is that we recently added rice to the menu. If you've ever gone on an extreme diet, you know that when you're missing large staples or something that's really regular to fill your meals, you go away really hungry every time. One thing we noticed that we did differently this year is that we didn't include things like rice and oatmeal, and we're feeling that hard. So we made the modification where we can have rice during our meals as a way of having a staple grain. We're also continuing to eat our potatoes, but I believe we're going to run through those much quicker than we expected. It's a disappointment for sure, but it happens. But I've had this conversation a couple times recently, and that is that everything in us, trained and learned and grown into us, is not helpful for this specific challenge. In particular, there's a sense of I don't need to worry about things that permeates everything that we do because, well, the modern world has made it sort of antiquated. So living this way is sort of like doing life on hard mode. There's no reason why we should only try and eat from the garden. You know, it's sort of backwards. But that's okay. Knowing that people haven't had to live this way for 100 years or thereabouts here in our own country, and the timeline's different wherever you are in the world, but at some point in time, your world, as you knew it, was agrarian, and you had to survive on what you grew or the things that you could trade to get what other people grew. So people like us would be doing this sort of thing on a day-to-day basis throughout the year. I believe there is value in trying this experiment, as always. I think it's fun. We try to do it every year, and we want to continue to see how good we get at it. I think there's also value in knowing, perspective-wise, what it might have been like for people who had to do this. And it wasn't just a challenge, it was just life. Of course, we won't ever know exactly what that felt like, and this isn't really a perfect window into that world because we still, again, have choices. All that being said, it's slightly different than what I had to do my entire life growing up, which was, do I want it? I go get it. It feels like my understanding of where my food comes from and the quality of that food, as well as the quality of the management of getting that food to me, again, it's a little more apparent. When I do it all myself, I notice how much the struggle it is. In fact, I was just lamenting over how I feel like I've failed. I feel like with the potatoes not really coming on like I wish they would have, I've kind of let my family down. And in reality, if this were 100 years ago, I would have, and we would have suffered for it. But being that we're in a modern world now, my time and all those other things are pulled in many, many different ways. And my ability to keep up on all of those things, even though I left a job to do this, are still stretched and thin. Midweek, I was feeling discouraged. I think we are turning a corner. The addition of the rice, yeah, it feels like a hit a little bit, but also I'm trying to turn it around and say, if we could have the grain thing sorted, could we provide the rest of a balanced diet with what we have and what we're growing here? And I think the answer is yes. We are continuing on in that vein, and we are going to continue on with the challenge. Of course, last year we had this. We had rice. We even had oatmeal and yogurt, and we still quit at day 20 or day 19. I feel good about the heading that we have, and I feel optimistic that we're going to make it to at least day 20. Here's to hoping. Also, something fun that just came up recently is some family of ours had a load of ground venison in their freezer, and they, knowing that we were going to be doing this challenge, gave us one of those tubes as sort of a surprise. And it is an incredible blessing. I don't know if they know how much it means to us, but we are so excited to make some of those meals a little bit better having a piece of meat in it. We'll see exactly where that can fit best in our diet, but we're really looking forward to using it. So thank you guys so much for doing that. Okay, so takeaway thoughts. I'm hungry, and I'm super glad that we gave up caffeine a while ago. I have not had any sort of headaches in terms of withdrawal headaches from caffeine, which has been a blessing. In fact, it kind of weirds me out at how little it hurts now. I get exhausted. Around 5 o'clock, I am pooped. And I get why we just crave caffeine. I get it. Right now, it is time for me to take this cayenne juice, steeped cayenne liquid, and spray the whole garden down. This has been helpful in battling the deer. So let's go ahead and do that. Look how big that bean is. This is the Taiwanese yard-long bean, and I am stoked to see these starting to come out. And they are coming in force. Woo! I heard this was a heavy producer, folks. All right, back to the mission. A small word to the wise in terms of using this kind of thing: don't stand downwind. When they say pepper spray, this isn't too far off. And just getting a tiny spritz anywhere close to your face or eyes or any other sensitive skin, it hurts, like bad. So I got a touch in my eye as I momentarily forgot that wind exists. Yeah, I stopped that. And it's all right. It's fine now. But it will quickly remind you, capsaicin in the fleshy bits, not a good idea. That's it for today. That is week 1 of the Garden Survival Challenge done. And we are excited. We are pumped. We are still hopeful and optimistic about this challenge. Some of the things that we're really looking forward to coming up, and you will get to see this, is our wheat harvest, and hopefully not just the harvest, but the winnowing and the grinding, and then potentially either the baking or pasta making with said wheat. We're super stoked about going through that process, about being able to eat wheat that we made with our own hands, and we're excited to share it with you. Another thing that I'm excited to do here is creating hot sauce from last year's leftover hot peppers. I might also include some of the hot peppers that we have currently growing. You saw a couple. We have some cayennes, and we also have some jalapenos growing in the backyard. We're going to make use of as much as we can, and we are excited to continue to share those things with you in the coming weeks. If you're enjoying this challenge, Please make sure you stay with us every day as we share a short about how that day is going or something that we ran into specifically that day. And then at the end of the week, we will have another one of these culmination videos that we share a little bit more in depth about something that we felt that week or a struggle that we came up against. And thank you for checking out this really interesting way to protect your garden from pests like deers and other mammals who also suffer from the spice. Don't forget to leave a comment down below on your thoughts on our challenge, as well as any other thoughts that you have for our homestead. Like the video, as that helps out the channel a lot. Share this around with anyone that you know who's crazy enough to do something like we're doing, or maybe has a similar mentality about trying to gain new perspectives on ways that we do things and why we do the things that we do. And don't forget to subscribe either, so that you can keep up with us weekly on these videos about the challenge, as well as our daily updates on how we're doing moment by moment. And as always, grow on.